Hi, it is September. It is November 5th, 2022, and I'm reviewing a task one of a map task written by an Indonesian and submitted to the Facebook Tips and Tricks group. And it's been a while since I've done one of these, so let's jump into it. Now, you've got 3 maps. Do you need 3 paragraphs? No, because the changes are only 2. And you've got the changes from 1950 to 1980 and another group of changes from 2010. So I'm starting with that just to address the structure. Now remember that with task 1, what you want to do is summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and making comparisons where relevant. Now, where am I getting this idea? From the instructions. It says right there, summarize the information. What does that mean, summarize? It means present the main information by using as few words as possible. And it actually tells you what it is by saying right there, selecting and reporting the main features. Not all the features. If you're reporting features that are not main features, that are irrelevant features, or if you are inaccurate in your reportage, then you're not following the instructions and your achievement of the task will not have been satisfied. Okay, so let's see how our candidate did here today. Okay, so in the beginning, in the introductory paragraph, you can paraphrase the question and try to move the order around of the words while using different words as much as possible. And here we have the yellow up above here are words that are the same. The diagrams below, the pictures, illustrated. Now he's written illustrated in the past tense. They still do, don't they? Here in the present tense, in the question, it's good to change illustrate to show or show to illustrate, but keep the tense the same. It illustrated the changes. The changes is the same. In construction, no. In facilities, not in construction. At the same place, at, copied. Since, says up here, since it's construction in 1950. Oh, that's where you got construction from. Okay, great. So you use the same word and put it in the wrong spot. Since it's establishment in 1950. Now that is also inaccurate. We don't know when it was established. We know that its current facilities were built in 1950, but it could have been established 200 years ago. We don't know that, so a little bit inaccurate choice of words there. Until the latest features, and we don't know that they're the latest features either. 2010 was 12 years ago. That's not necessarily the latest features. Okay, overall, oh boy, here comes the overview. The major changes were, oh good, in 1950 to 1980. Yeah, I'd say so, that the change from here to here is the most significant, or half of it. Good, so far. From 1950 to 1980. Where? I'd say when, not where. The houses, what houses? We haven't talked about any houses. We don't use the unless we know which houses we're talking about. And this is the first you're mentioning them, called the definite article. We're replaced with car park. Well, now here we need another article. We need with a car park. And science facilities, while other locations remain the same, unless the farmland, which, okay, hold us. Let's talk first about while other locations remain the same. You had a perfectly good sentence that could have just ended with facilities. But no, you had to carry it on. While other locations, what locations? Remain the same. So the topic sentence, this is what this is, talks about the major changes. That's good. Something not changing is rarely one of the main features and does not need to be in your overview. But you quickly step out of that by saying, oh, Everything else remained the same, unless we're talking about the farmland, which was transformed. Transformed? Really? It's kind of an odd word for putting up a couple of goalposts over a cow patty. Transformed into a sports field. See, now those are details. That's not what you put in your overview. In your overview, you want big picture stuff. However, don't use however to connect sentences in task 1. However is used with ideas, not facts and statistics so much. However, in 2010, comma, there was enlargement space for the park. Okay, we were talking about 1950 to 1980. Why are you bringing in 2010 in your overview? Because you clearly state that that's when the major changes were. There was enlargement space for the park. The park. Oh, that's a big mistake. A park and a car park are very different things. Which was taking a half of sport land feature. What? We'll get to that in a minute. Half of sports land feature. Okay. Let's look at what's going on here in this map. All right. So, from 1950 to 1980, it's pretty straightforward. The west, or we can say west, the left side, western side of the map has radically changed. Before it was houses and farmland, car park, science block, sports facilities, sports field. Okay, that's half of it. This start didn't change. Where does the sports field begin? It begins halfway at the end of the school building. Okay. Where does the sports field begin in 2010? Oh, it's moved over here. Okay, it begins in the middle of the school and it ends there. So this sports field is not in the same place that sports field was. And the car park has gotten much bigger. Playground has shrunk, as has the sports field. So, the way to report this in an overview would be to say, overall, the major changes could be found by 1980, with residential and agriculture land being reassigned, or why not reassigned, to transportation and recreation uses, along with an expansion of the main building. And that's a detail. With expansion of the facilities, recreation and transportation facilities. Okay, that's your overview. You might actually put a second sentence on it by saying that those features, or that trend continued up until 2010. What do I mean? I mean the trend of transportation, facilities were increased in 2010 as well. Recreation facilities actually declined in 2010, but the transportation facilities increased. Anyway, let's talk about the essay that you wrote, not the one you should have written. Okay, so this makes no sense whatsoever because it's not lining up. And then this paragraph here, this is the only this is the one body paragraph. There were 4 main blocks. What's a block in the school? That after 3 years of construction, so if it was built in 1950, we're talking about 1953, in front of the main road does not need to be mentioned at all. One of the blocks divided into car park and science room. 4 main blocks. I see what you're saying. That this represents 4 main blocks. No. There are 4 main blocks in the school. Was farmland part of the school? Did they hold classes there? Were the houses part of the school? No, that's not clear. So that's inaccurate. In the school, that after 3 years, one of 3 years, after 30 years, one of the blocks was divided into a car park, and science room. Just one room, just a little tiny room, for additional facilities. These new blocks replaced the housing provision at the school. We don't know that those houses belong to the school. Moreover, never use moreover, ever. In 2010, the car park became the largest part of the school features and took over half of the sport field. Well, you're right about it becoming the largest part, but it didn't happen in 2010. It could have happened before that. This is just what it looked like, by 2010. Okay, the car park took half of the sport field. No? They took all of the sports field. There's the sports field. All of it, of where it was gone. And then you continue with another inaccuracy. The playground was never changed. Damn straight it changed. It didn't change here to here, but changed here. You can see that just by looking at it. It changed. Over several years since the school was founded, going back to the beginning, we don't know. That's when it was founded. And located in the corner of the main school building. School old building. What? What corner? It's not in the corner of the building. It's behind the building. Okay, so once again, you're not summarizing, you're not identifying the main features. You want to use more vocabulary that can include all of these things instead of just saying, for example, school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times in this one paragraph. And this is a run-on sentence. Grammar makes it hard to read. This would be like for task achievement, I'd say 5. There's some sense of flow, so 6. For vocab, 5, 6. So you look about a 5.5 here. Sorry.